round number 2 of the 2011 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship brings us to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and these drivers are ready to gamble, put it all on the line, and throw the dice here tonight. My name is Daryl Morley. Alongside me is Nim Cross as we get set for some racing action at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Nim.
That's right, and this is a lot different race than we saw 2 weeks ago at Daytona. This week we're at the 1.5 mile Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and it's got pretty high bank corners at about 20 degrees, but the biggest difference about this race, Daryl, is that these guys won't be looking for the draft on each other. They're all worried about driving skill and setup.
This is one of those drivers' tracks, Nim, where these drivers can really kind of sink their teeth into what they're doing, where last week or 2 weeks ago, Daytona was really one of those racetracks where you had to depend on those around you. You couldn't get yourself into the wrong position. You really had to be careful out there. Tonight, you want to be a little bit careful, but you can really let that aggression shine through, and that's a good thing for guys like Josh Parker.
Yeah, here the driver with the best car and the best driver has a good chance to excel. Last 2 weeks ago at Daytona, you know, it was kind of a lottery where you were at everybody else's mercy. Here, it's more in your own hands, more in the driver's hands, and he can feel like he can make his way to the front if he has the better car and the talent to do so.
Some great drivers up towards the front of the field. Our points leader, Ray Alfalo, will be starting in the top 5, as will Derek Wood. A couple of other guys just outside the top 5. Last year's champion, Richard Towler, he's just outside the top 5 for a starting position. Tyler Hudson, surprisingly, outside the top 10.
Yeah, there's a lot of surprises in here. I believe a couple of drivers that we had from last year, drivers like Matt Santel didn't make the race tonight, and a number of others. But with our new influx of new drivers this year, the guys, the Pro Series drivers who have made it into the series for this season, it's a lot stronger field. And some of the competitors that we had last season that were in the fields or dominated last season are going to have a challenge by these new drivers to come up this season.
Yeah, they certainly are. And one of those drivers that has really turned some heads is Pedro Mojica. Mojica, second last week, second in the points coming into tonight's race. And Pedro will start from the 11th position here tonight. Pedro Mojica is the real deal.
Yeah, Pedro had a great run last week, and it was real exciting to see him take that runner-up spot. Also high up in the points, in the 8th spot in points right now, is Charles Cosper. He's a new driver to the series this season, and he will also be in this race starting from the 25th spot.
Not the place you want to start, 25th, but you're still in the field, and there are thousands of drivers along the iRacing service that would change places with him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no doubt. We have the best 40 drivers out of 20,000 members on the service right now who have gone after this coveted series, and the top 40 drivers are in the series. And the guy starting last tonight, Dana Weimer, is an absolutely fantastic driver, and in this series he's only qualified 0.3 of a second off of the pole time. So from first to 40th, 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, that's an amazing gap, and some of the drivers that were a little bit low in their split as far as qualifying goes still made it in. Richie DeVitowicz struggled in his split, but he'll make it in. He'll start 31st. Brian Blackford struggled in his split. He'll make it in at 28th position. And surprisingly for a lot of people, Jordan Erickson struggled a little bit in qualifying. He will start all the way back in the 37th position.
These guys winding down. They're about 2.5 minutes left to go in practice before we'll line them up. They're all out there taking some warm-up laps now, getting a feel for their cars and getting a feel for the other drivers out there, just getting into a rhythm, kind of like a baseball batter that will go into the circle and warm up before he takes his swings.
Tough break for Chad Coleman. Chad, unfortunately, will not be involved in tonight's race. Got loose off from turn 4, brushed the wall. Yep. We do have a Twitter contest going on here tonight, and it's twitter.com/PSRTV. if you follow and retweet the exact message, which is follow and retweet, you could win a $50 iRacing.com gift certificate, and that's one person that does it will win it. That will be chosen at random, and that winner will be announced on Friday's show.
Drivers out there practicing getting on the pit road right now. That's one of the things we want to do, Daryl, during this time. You know, they're out there getting some warm-up laps, just getting a feel for the car, getting a rhythm. And the one important thing they want to do is they want to make a pit stop. And, you know, coming around turn 4 there, they want to see where their brake point's going to be. And they practice this throughout during the week, but they're just getting the rhythm going, and they're breaking down, getting in the pit road, and checking out where their pit stall is, because that's one thing that they haven't been able to practice is where their pit stall is going to be tonight. And the pits are lined up where the pole sitter tonight will be Brad Davies. He'll have pit number 1, and the last place car of Dana Weimeyer, he'll be starting, or he'll have the last pit position on pit road.
Yeah, it'll be very important for these drivers to memorize where their pit position is. And they may come in 2, 3, sometimes 4 times just so they can get the best possible entry and the best possible exit out of pit roads. They know how hard they can go for how long before they violate that pit road speed limit. And for most of us, we say, well, the limit's 55, I'm going to go 53. These drivers cannot afford to do that in most situations. If the limit is 55, they need to be going 55. Not 54, not 53, but 55 miles per hour, because it costs you time in the pits, maybe up to a half a second, which could be a lot of distance out here at Las Vegas.
Absolutely. You know, just running 1 mile an hour down the whole way, that could cost you a couple spots out in the track. And one thing about Las Vegas Speedway here is the pit entrance is very tricky. You come off of turn 4 here, and it's a very sharp turn, a left-hand turn down in the pit road, and if you don't have your speed scrubbed off properly, you're going to miss the pit road entrance.
Well, we told you about the Twitter contest. There is another contest that is taking place that is from Hot Lap Radio. If you design the new logo for Hot Lap Radio, you could win $50 in your PayPal, and here's how it's going to work. The only way to enter is to send your submission to contact@hotlapradio.com. Of course, Hot Lap Radio, the show that chronicles this particular series, it must be 100% original, and it must be as big and as bold as you can possibly make it. We want Hot Lap Radio to pop off the page. Again, 100% original. You cannot use any logos already in existence for any companies. No NASCAR logo, no iRacing logo, and even as much as we love them, no Simboot logo as well. We'll incorporate any logos that we need to incorporate later on. But these are for T-shirts. These are for mouse pads. Heck, these might even be for G-strings. You never know. But that's the contest going on over at Hot Lap Radio and hotlapradio.com. Drivers lining up and taking the grid. We're going to let you know who will start where. Brad Davies will start on the pole. Outside of him, the lightning rod, Josh Parker.
Row number 2, on the inside you have Thomas Hazard, and outside Ray Alfala.
Row number 3 on the inside, Derek Wood, and on the outside, RT, the defending champion, Richard Towler.
Starting in the 7th position, car number 2 is Josh Berry. In the 8th spot, car number 20, John Gorlinski.
The 15 of Brad Wright will start in 9th position, and starting 10th, the number 19 of Tommy L., Thomas Lewandowski.
Your runner-up at Daytona starts in the 11th spot. That's Pedro Mojica. Starting next to him in car number 33, Patrick Fogel.
13th spot's number 5 of Brian Schoenberg, and starting 14th, the number 1 machine of Tyler Hudson.
Steve Sheehan and Jamison Speed starts 15th and 16th.
Jeremy Allen will start 17th, starting 18th, Florian Goddard.
Joshua Laughlin starts 19th, and Connor McKenzie 20th.
Daniel Pope II will start 21st, starting 22nd, Chris Main.
Starting in the 23rd spot is Darren Stevens, and Theo Olson starts 24th.
Charles Cosper will start 25th, and starting 26th is Jason Anderson.
Josh Connors 27th, 28th, Brian Blackford.
Nolan Scott will start 29th, starting 30th is Justin Trombley.
31st, Richie Davidowitz, and 32nd is Jason Bernstein.
Rest of the drivers, Justin Lowry, Stephen Gilbert, Robert Hall, Matthew Moose, Jordan Erickson, Ben Sexton, Greg Spears, and Dana Weimer. Here we go. Green flag flies, and we are underway.
Brad Davies gets a good jump as the green flag flies, takes about a car length and a half lead down in corner number 1. Josh Parker falls in behind.
Davies out to an early advantage in turns 1 and 2. He'll lead the field off from turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Parker now getting a challenge from Thomas Hazard as they head towards turn number 3. These early laps here, Nim, these drivers have this mindset of get everything you can while they're all bunched up. A lot harder to pass when they get spread out.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the drivers earlier today in one of the earlier practice sessions, and they let me know that these cars are pretty loose for about the first 5 or 6 laps. So as the tires come up to temperature, they're not at optimal operating speed, so they got to be careful what they're trying to do on these beginning laps.
The tires coming up to temperature here as Brad Davies is your race leader. Josh Parker sits second. Nice battle behind them, or right behind Ray Alfala, as the number 3 of Thomas Hazard has been shuffled to the high side, and Hazard starting to slide backwards. The 11 of Derek Wood working his way to the inside.
Yeah, that's Alfala, our Daytona winner. He's up to 3rd spot right now, and he does have a 5-point lead over Pedro Mujica in the points championship right now. So Alfala having a very good, strong run early on.
One of the things that Ray is looking to do is he's looking to get as much consistency in this season as he can. He was very happy with the Daytona win, but he said himself it was a toss-up. Daytona is always a toss-up, and you never really know how it's going to roll out. He was looking forward to Las Vegas. He wanted to see how hard he could flex his muscles. In the early going, Ray Alfala flexes up to 3rd.
Yeah, definitely. And the guy who's having a little bit of problem right now, Thomas Hazard, got a little bit loose going down in corner number 1. May have got caught out by the car in front of him a little bit. Now he forces his way back down in line after the 12 of Richard Tyler gets by. But Hazard losing a couple spots here early on.
Top 4 drivers break away just a little bit as now the 15 car slides to the high side, and we'll double check. I believe that was the 15 car sliding to the high side, and that is Brad Wright. Brad Wright slides to the high side a little bit. Also out there in that group, the number 19 of Thomas Lewandowski, and I believe that's no, it's not the number 5 of Brian Schoenberg. There's another car out there painted almost identically. That's the number 20 of John Gorlinski. Gorlinski and Lewandowski painted almost identically.
Yeah, Hazard again going down in the first corner got a little bit loose again, and that bunched the cars up, and Wright had to get check up, and a number of them had to check up as we got a car scraping the wall back in corner number 1 and 2.
Well, Richie Davidowitz, the new driver to the series, that was up into the outside wall. Tough turn of events for Richie D, and that main performance PC sponsored number 8.
Guys still getting sorted out. A lot of good single file. The top 4 cars breaking away a little bit. Brad Davies has about a 3.5 second lead over Josh Parker. Parker again about 3/10 of a second back to Ray Alfala, and then it's about more than a half a second back from Alfala to Wood.
Behind them we find RT Richard Towler in the 5th position. Then behind that, Josh Berry, Thomas Hazard, and Thomas Lewandowski. We're watching Lewandowski start to track down Thomas Hazard. A couple of Thomases ready to do battle, and all of this going on, and Matt Thomas looking on. That's 3 Thomases. We can make muffins, man.
Davidowitz has really hurt his car in that scrape with the wall. He's damaged and off pace, so it's not looking good for Davidowitz early. I was talking to some of the drivers earlier, Daryl, and they were letting me know they could go 57 laps if they were going to go a full tank on fuel, but the tires are going to give up earlier than that, and they're looking at the tires. The tires will give up around lap 45 to 50, so let's look for pit stops around that period of time. But this is, I believe, a 133-lap race. It is a 133-lap race, so they're going to have to make 2 pit stops anyway, so about 45 to 50 expect pit stops.
Looks like Richie Davidowitz will park the car. He'll be done for the night, and that is huge damage to early season points. Davidowitz will be well outside the top 30 in points.
You know what it's easy to do here at Vegas, Daryl, is when you're coming through the tri-oval and you let the car swing out on that little short chute right before turn number 1, it's so easy to hit the wall right there, and when you do, you can really hurt the car bad. And I bet you that's what he did. He got in that wall a little bit, which got him out of shape, and it got him up in the turn 1 wall.
More than possible, that's what happened, and that's what took out Richie Davidowitz. Brad Davies is your race leader. Josh Parker sits in second. Third is Ray Alfala, followed by Derek Wood, and rounding out your top 5 is Josh Berry.
Looks like the 20 car, John Gorlinski, making his way by Thomas Hazard right now. So move Gorlinski up into the 8th position, and Hazard back to the 9th.
Gorlinski trying to get himself on the move and start to track down some more of these drivers. And the driver that's struggling the most right now is Thomas Hazard. Hazard trying to fight back, getting a run down to the inside of Gorlinski as they head down the backstretch. Hazard down on the inside, Gorlinski on the outside. It's the Obutto cockpit's ride, looking down to the inside of John Gorlinski. Hazard with a little bit of an advantage. Gorlinski almost brushes the outside wall, and Gorlinski will have the position across the stripe.
Just behind him, Steve Sheehan got real loose coming off corner number 4. He lost a couple of spots gathering it back up, but he was able to do so. I was talking to Thomas earlier in the week, and that guy has practiced a lot all week long. He hasn't left his cockpit, and he's actually been practicing so much. He said he's got a stack of pizza boxes laying next to him because all he's been doing is eating pizza and practicing for this race.
Update on what happened to Richie Davidowitz. It wasn't a matter of the car sliding up. He had his software skip. He believes he may have the graphics set too high. So there's a lesson to all you out there. Just because your graphics run smooth with 8, 9, 10, 15, 20 people on the track with you does not mean they're going to run smooth with 40 people on track in a DWC style race or a NASCAR iRacing.com World Championship race.
Going down the back straightaway a little bit there, Brian Schoenberg scraped the wall a little bit, but I don't think there was much damage done as he's able to go on pretty good, but a little bit of right side scrapage on the 5 car. Number 19, moving to the inside down the back straightaway. That's Thomas Lewandowski. He's making up position on Richard Tyler, I believe, right now. So he's looking for that number 6 spot, trying to send Tyler, last year's championship, back to 7. Brad Davies right now out to an 0.8 of a second lead over Josh Parker. Ray Alfala 1.5 seconds behind your leader. Derek Wood running in the 4th spot, 2.1 seconds behind your leader. Josh Berry 3.3 seconds behind in the 5th spot.
15th position right now, we see one of the legends of online racing, that is Steve Sheehan. Sheehan in the TaxSlayer.com sponsored ride. Sheehan working his way from the 13th position, was 15th just a couple laps ago. Also was up towards the top 10, got a little bit loose, lost some ground, but don't be surprised to see Double S Steve Sheehan up in the top 5 before this thing is all over, maybe even battling for the win. Steve Sheehan is what we refer to as a sim racing ninja. You don't hear much about him all race long, and then waka, there he is at the end, ready to take the shot.
Yeah, he's been doing this for a long, long time, and he has a lot of victories under his belt, so no doubt he's got a good strategy for this race, and he'll be there at the end. Car number 33, that's Patrick Fogel. He picks up a spot over Pedro Mojica for that 15th position, so move Fogel up to 15th and Mojica back to 16th.
Yeah, Pedro Mojica dropping back a little bit in the early going of this race, and it could be indicative of Pedro Mojica just kind of giving a little bit of ground, letting the tires come up to temperature, and letting everything sort out. That's exactly what he did at Daytona.
Yeah, these guys are starting to feel the wear on the tires too a little bit. 20 laps into this run, as I said earlier, they can go 45 to 50 laps on tires So we're about halfway through a tire set, just short of halfway, and those guys are going to be, starting to feel the wear on those tires, and we'll start to see the guys who have been taken care of, which Mojica might be doing. He might be trying to take care of those tires. Might see him move up, give a battle on later in the stint.
One driver not really looking like he's concerned with saving tires is Brad Davies, as he has checked out on this field, but the one of Tyler Hudson about to have a whole lot of company as he tries to get a good look over the number 5 of Brian Schoenberg. On his back bumper, here comes Steve Sheehan as well. So Hudson has traffic ahead of him, traffic behind him. Fortunately for him, nothing side by side, but it's looking like he might change that very, very soon.
Yeah, Tyler Hudson is the highest rated driver in this event, according to his rating here on the iRacing service. He's the number 1 car right now, and he is putting the pressure on the 5 car of Schoenberg as they go in the corner number 1. Looks like Schoenberg really loose going into the corner, and Hudson able to stick the car right down to the bottom and get a good run off the corner as he challenges going down the back straightaway.
Down to the inside, the number 1 of Tyler Hudson moves his Icon 25 machine, and Steve Sheehan will follow him through. Great idea and great play from Steve Sheehan. Almost like in football, find yourself a blocker, follow his way through. As the door opened up by Tyler Hudson, Steve Sheehan says thank you and steps right through. So we're being told the fuel window is about 60 laps here, so these drivers will be looking to pit, right about 30 laps from now or so. As we look at the leader, Brad Davies, one of the big keys here, Nim, is tires. Tires, because they need fresh tires as much as possible. They are wearing tires out like they're going out of style here at Las Vegas.
Yeah, as we were talking about earlier, 45 to 50 laps is what the drivers say that they're going to be able to go on tires. They can go 60 laps on fuel, but they're only going to go about 45 to 50 laps on tires. And once you see the first guys starting to pit for tires, those guys are going to come out and they're going to be making a big time on the drivers who are staying out in the track. So once you see the first guys make a pit stop, you're going to see a bunch of people coming in the pits.
I think the last people you'll see come into the pits will be your race leaders, and that's because they're out there in that wide open, clean air. Helps the car handle well. The thicker the traffic is, the more that car is upset.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's what we saw from Thomas Hazard early on. When he had a lot of cars around him, he was real loose and losing a lot of spots. Now he was able to, fall back in line. He's got a little bit of space in front of him, a little bit of space behind him, and he's able to run pretty good. So Hazard early on was fighting an ill-handling car in traffic and getting that dirty air.
Look out the rear spoiler of your points leader, Ray Alfala, as he looks back at the number 11 of Derek Wood. 2 drivers that have done battle many, many times before. Wood working all over the back bumper of Ray Alfala. Alfala knows what to expect from Derek Wood.
Josh Berry running back in the 5th spot, just behind this group of cars. He always seems to come on late. He's a pretty smart driver and somebody that you'll see late in the race and just putting in time right now. But he does have a pretty good gap to the cars in front of him. He probably would want to be closer. But right now, Wood is challenging Alfala pretty hard for that 3rd spot.
Yeah, this is a battle for the 3rd position, and Ray Alfala doing quite well. And let's not forget, coming off the win at Daytona, there were a lot of naysayers out there about Ray Alfala. I'm not going to put myself among that group. There were a lot of people that said, Ray Alfala can get it done on the big track, get it done at Daytona. But then again, that's a crapshoot. Almost anybody can get it done on the big track. Let's see him get it done on one of these drivers' tracks. Well, how about Las Vegas? Ray Alfala runs 3rd, my friends.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, and this is going to be a big this is going to be no doubt a big part of the challenge that he's going to be making for this championship. He's definitely telling everybody that he's in it for the championship, and he's definitely proving it right now.
The Florida driver, the JDR Graphics sponsored ride, continues to run in third, and for the second consecutive week, we have made our first 30 laps under green flag conditions.
That's 40 drivers on the track, and that's a lot of cars on this track, you know, especially this caliber of driver, and all of these guys want to go pretty quick, as Ben Sexton and Richie Davidowitz are out of the race. 38 drivers on the track right now. It's a long way to go without a caution. We have the car number 4. Let's see who that is. That's Charles Cosper, one of the new drivers this year, rookie driver this year, making a pass on Connor McKenzie for that 21st spot. So move Cosper up to 21st and drop McKenzie back to 22nd. And we do have a car on the wall too, down at corner number 1. I believe that is the 21 car.
Yeah, that's Joshua Lawton. Josh Lawton has made some contact with the outside wall. He gets back down into the racing groove, and I don't know how much damage has been done to Lawton's car. It looks like it's relatively clean. May have scuffed the paint, but that's about it. The car looks like it's in good shape.
Yeah, he hit the apron coming through the tri-oval, and that got his back end of his car a bit squirrely, and he went up and scraped the wall a little bit. We'll see if, and this is probably a deal on old tires, Daryl. We're on lap number 32 right now. He's having some trouble through that tri-oval, and we talked to the other drivers, and that is the point of the track where these guys are going to have trouble when they're on old tires, is through the tri-oval area.
Connor McKenzie, the Canadian racer, trying to find his way to the inside of the number 21. He's all over the back bumper. He'll make his move heading towards turn number 1. McKenzie down low, Lawton up high. Connor McKenzie trying to pick up a spot.
Darren Stephen wants that spot right there from behind also, as the 21 car of Lofton wants that position back, but he's not going to be able to do it. You can definitely tell he's off the pace a little bit. Now the 7 car just behind this battle. The 7 car goes to the inside of the 40 car. That's Theo Olson moving to the inside of Brian Blackford, and that will move Theo up to the 24 spot and Blackford back to 25th. Thomas Hazard dropping back a little bit more in the number 3 car. He's battling with Richard Tyler right now up for the 8th position. So Tyler right now the 8th spot. Hazard might be challenging Tyler for that 8th spot right now. He's got Brad Wright right there in the top 10, right on the rear bumper of Hazard. So those 2 guys are teammates also. I believe they will run for the main performance team. But right now they're running the top 10 with those Abuto cars.
We can see the 15 of Brad Wright try to take a peek to the high side of the number 3. That's Thomas Hazard. Hazard able to squash that run, but I don't know how much longer he'll be able to hold off that 15 of Brad Wright. Brad Wright looks stout out here at Las Vegas, Nim.
Yeah, he definitely does, and he's a good driver. This is his first season in this series, and no doubt he'll be a challenger all through the season. And one thing we want to do is welcome everybody who's watching this race. And I know we have some drivers or people out there who are watching the race right now from Belgium who aren't actually sim racers, but they do have friends that are sim racers. So we want to say hi to ScanX in Belgium and invite them to come to iRacing.com and join us. And you can even actually race on your track there in Belgium, Spa-Francorchamps here at iRacing. So ScanX, come join us and race with us. We'd love to have you.
Running order right now as they stand. Brad Davies is your leader. Josh Parker sits in second. Ray Alfala is third. Fourth is Derek Wood, and you're running out your top 5 is Josh Berry. Sitting in 6th spot is Thomas Lewandowski. 7th is John Gorlinski. 8th is Richard Towler. 9th spot belongs to Thomas Hazard, and 10th is Brad Wright.
In the 11th spot, Tyler Hudson. In 12th, Steve Sheehan. Jeremy R. Allen in the 13th position right now. 14th, Patrick Fogel. 15th is Brian Schoenberg, running in the 16th spot. 15 seconds behind the leader right now is Chris Main. Jason Bernstein runs in 17th. Pedro Mojica, last week's runner-up, or last race's runner-up at Daytona, is in the 18th spot. Jameson Spies, 19th. And Charles Cosper is in the 20th position.
21st position is Connor McKenzie. 22nd is Joshua Lawton. Theo Olson sits 23rd. Darren Stevens is 24th. Brian Blackford and Justin Trombley, 25th and 26th, respectively. 27th is Nolan Scott. 28th belongs to Stephen Gilbert. 29th is Jordan Erickson. And rounding out your top 30 is Daniel Pope.
Still on the lead lap in the 31st position, only 23 seconds behind the leader, is Justin Lowry. Jason Anderson, 32nd. Greg Spears, 33rd. 34th is Florian Goddard. Robert Hall, 35th. Matthew Moose, 36th. 37th, Joshua Connor. And in that 38th spot, the last car running, still on the lead lap, Dana Weimeyer. And Darrell, 40 laps into this race, working lap number 41 right now, and all the cars are still in the lead lap. That just attests to the quality of this field.
It also shows how difficult it is to make up positions, and what an amazing job Brad Davies has been doing, being able to take over the top spot and just check out on this field. And I think right now, Davies is one of the few drivers hoping for green flag pit stops. He wants to see this thing go green all the way through.
Oh, yeah, he does. And I think a lot of these guys up front, well, there's probably a number of guys. And we do have pit stops starting right now as the 24 car of Lofton is trying to make a pit road, but he might miss pit road. And I believe he did. And if he tries to go down, he's going to get a black flag penalty. So Lofton have a lot of trouble here early on.
I believe we may have the opportunity to talk with John Prather. John, unfortunately not in this week's race, but we're glad we have the opportunity to talk with you, bud. You got us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Indeed we can. Tell us a little bit about this track. What are these drivers facing from a driver's point of view?
I think the big thing here is going to be aero. I know Derek, a little while ago you showed Derek sitting right behind Ray for several laps. I know it's really hard to get by somebody, even if you're a little faster than them. You get up to about 0.1, 0.2 behind them, and you're just kind of stuck there. You have to be a lot faster than them. They have to make a mistake. The other thing is, if it's going to go this green, it just gets to be a real handful to have the car, stable for a long run, and it's really tough to drive it that long for more than 15, 20 laps. It becomes a real handful, and I think those are the two biggest things that they're dealing with right now.
Now, obviously, you're not in this race. You're going to try out for the race in 2 weeks at Bristol?
Oh, of course, man. I'm gonna do what I can to get in these races. It's obviously disappointing to miss a race, but it goes to show how good the competition's getting in this series. These new guys, they're all solid, every single one of them, and as strong as the field was last year. It's just amazing right now, the kind of competition we have.
You've got some phenomenal competition. How close are you think to being able to qualify in at the concrete blender?
I'm sure I can do it. I just have to put down a good lap. I was running plenty of laps, good enough to make the show here, and just screwed up the qualifying. I mean, it's that easy. You get 2 shots at it. 2 laps, basically 1 shot. You miss turn 1 on the first lap, and then the tires are a little worn on the second lap, and that's it. Pretty soon you're out of the field.
Thank you very much, John. We've got pit stops taking place as the number 9 of Ray Alfala comes out of pit road, and the 6th car now of Brad Davies heading down onto pit road hard on the binders to make sure it gets down to that mandated pit road speed.
Jameson Spies spun his car coming down the pit road, and he missed pit road, had to go back out in the track.
That's a tough turn of events for Jameson Spies, as now John Gorlinski picks up the top spot. He'll lead a couple laps, and that'll be a nice pick-me-up for Gorlinski, but Brad Davies looks to continue his domination.
Darren Stevens is having some trouble trying to get back on to the racetrack from pit road, so he had to spin down on the apron in 1 and 2 somewhere. And earlier, Darrell, we were talking about the 24. I was talking about the 24 car having some trouble getting on pit road, and I mispronounced. That was Daniel Pope who was having trouble getting on the pit road earlier, and not the 21 car.
6 car of Davies trying to blend into traffic, trying to find a hole. right up either behind or in front of the number 3. That's the 3 of Thomas Hazard. These drivers yet to pit, and it should be a big advantage for the number 6 of Brad Davies. He'll have much fresher tires, and he should be able to gobble these drivers up relatively quickly.
Yeah, most of the drivers now, we got about 5 cars who have stayed out. Brad Davies is running in the 6th position. The cars out there right now are Tyler, Hazard, Gorlinski, Lofton, and Goddard. So I said Lofton pitted earlier, and he didn't. That was Daniel Pope that pitted, but Lofton's still out there on these tires and running in the 4th position. Brad Lawton.
Richard Towler, RT, is our race leader. He gets drifted up to the high side, or gets pushed up to the high side. Towler, big wiggle for Richard Towler. We're going to go 3 wide almost off from turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Towler just looking for an opening to get down onto pit road now.
And we see the 3 car. Thomas Hazard getting a little bit loose under Towler there, but the 3 car getting a little bit loose. And causing some issues right there. The 35 car, now you see right now, look at the 35, and Hazard almost cuts him off going down the corner, but the 35, look at what fresh tires will do for you. Joshua Lawton, Higgs pit road. Oh, and the 17 car, I believe it's Darren Stevens, almost hits Towler going in the corner number 3. And Towler was plenty far up. Stevens just got a little bit high in that corner and almost got Towler. But this is the danger of staying out on worn tires, is that you're basically a roadblock, and these guys got to work their way around, and you got to be really careful out there on old tires.
And I think Towler's waiting for a caution flag, and it might be becoming obvious to him that he is a sitting duck, because right now Richard Towler can't even run close to the lap times that everybody else can run. We saw Nolan Scott just gobble him up, chew him up, and spit him out, and that was the driver that we heard little to nothing about until he had the fresh tires and was able to chew up and spit out Richard Towler, and that's not something that Towler's used to having happen.
No, definitely not. This does help Towler in a way, though. He's picking up an extra point for leading a lap here for his championship hopes. He is last season's champion and defending the crown for this season. But this time he's spending out on the track here, Darryl, is going to cost him a lot. If he doesn't get a caution flag, he's going to be way behind. And he gets loose coming off corner number 4 right now, and he spins.
Down through the grass, Richard Towler, the number 12. Down through the grass, almost back up in front of traffic. Hang on to it, Richard. Richard Towler gathers it back up and whee, spins it down through the grass.
And this will bring out the yellow flag, and this almost probably benefits Towler. So, he spins, and this is the caution he needed. Everybody else is still behind, so this might even work out to be a pretty good break for him.
Yeah, it could be a great break for him. However, Brad Davies will pass him up. Ray Alfalo will pass him up. It's going to cost him in the long run, but in the short run, it's going to work out just fine. And we have a lot of drivers stuck a lap down.
Yeah, and these guys will probably, the guys who are lap down and made their pit stops, they'll stay out and be in front of the leader after the leaders make his pit stops. And that will allow the cars that are in front of the leader or on the tail end to make up a lap. So they might get waved around. So we might see a lot of drivers get waved around from this. But if Towler was able to maintain a position on the lead lap there, I believe you'll still see him in the top 10 by the end of this caution when we go green again.
Thomas Hazard, the number 3, is our leader. I expect that he'll come down pit road the first opportunity, as Hazard will be diving down pit road, and I would be very surprised if he didn't have a lot of company with him.
Yeah, I think you're going to see everybody here that didn't pit. And remember, only lead lap cars can pit this time by. So Thomas Hazard, Towler, Parker, Davies, Alfala, Wood, Barry, Lewandowski, and Sheehan and Gorlinski are able to pit this time by. But we'll see who does pit.
So we're going to see if we can't catch a word with Steve Sheehan after his pit stop. We're going to let Steve get into his pit stall, get his pit stop completed, and get pulled out. And it looks like there may be just a little bit of cosmetic damage to that tax slayer number 25 as Sheehan misses his pit stop.
Yeah, it's not easy catching your pit stall coming down pit road here. Even for the best drivers on the service here, it's still hard to make that pit stop. And remember, these tires that these guys were on are pretty old. And the guys that haven't pitted, I doubt are going to pit. They're going to want to, get that tail end and get that lap back. So they're going to want to get that wave around. So a lot of these guys are now going to be on old tires, but they'll get their laps back. But the guys who stayed out longer are going to have a big advantage. Even Tyler. While we're under caution here, we'll remind everybody that these are drivers racing from their homes in front of their computer desks. And everybody is racing from around the world and just racing against each other in good competition. Rich Tyler from England and a lot of these other guys from around the world. We have
We'll see if we can't get booth-to-car communications with Steve Sheehan. Steve, this is Daryl Morley with PSR TV. You got me, buddy?
Yeah, guys. What's up?
Steve, some difficulty coming down onto pit road this last time by. The pit stall just kind of sneak up on you, bud?
Actually, my car is not handling the way I like it, so I'm actually pitting the second time around so I can start at the back of these guys. I have to make some pretty good changes to be comfortable. This car changes a lot when you go from the lead to fresh air to dirty air, so I got to make some changes to make that happen.
Tell us about your relationship with Tax Slayer, one of the greatest companies out there, buddy.
Well, I mean, of course, you guys know I do my taxes with Tax Slayer. I always have. I have about 6 times this year already, and it just gets better every single time. So I really hope you guys are too. Daryl, I know you are. You're smart enough. But everybody else, I don't know too well. But I mean, I'm sure you guys are doing your taxes with Tax Slayer.
I can't think of a better place to do it. They really kind of hold your hand and guide you through, and that's what I need when it comes tax time. I need someone to hold my hand, guide my way through it, and for them to say, okay, check this box, click over here, type this number in over here, and we'll do the rest for you. And that's exactly what Tax Slayer does.
Yeah, they do. I wish they were helping me pick out take the right car to the track last race, because I actually forgot the car with their logos on it, so I apologize for that. But I know I got to shout their logo out last race. So yeah, I hope everybody's rooting for this car. It's a very good looking car. I got to thank Junior, Tax Slayer, Jelly D Laird for painting me the car, and also I got another small sponsor on the side, Fusion Pool Treatment. Just got to thank all those guys. Hopefully I get a top 10 out of this thing.
What's it going to take to get that number 25 back up towards the front of this field after the adjustments, buddy?
Well, the way the caution just flew right there, a lot of these guys that are getting the wave around are probably going to have older tires than the top 10. I'm in 10th. I'm at the tail end. And I really can cruise a little bit now. I got to say sorry to the field because Rich and I got together and he spun into pit road. I thought I left room, but I think the arrow sucked him right around. I can take it easy a little bit right now. I just got to kind of keep my cool and just finish this one out. Like I said, I got to hope the car is handling better this run than last run. We'll see what happens.
All right, bud, lights are out. Time to punch the clock and get back to work. We'll talk to you later on, okay?
Yeah, guys. Thanks a lot.
That's Steve Sheehan, driver of the Tax Slayer number 25, as he gets set to try to win this race. And if he does, and if he winds up winning the championship, well, maybe Tax Slayer can help him with that extra $10,500 cash prize that he'll be dealing with.
Some of the drivers that didn't make today's race are Vinny Sansoni, Gene Costa, John Prather, Brian Daly, Andrew Fash III, Chad Coleman, Sandeep Banerjee, Jordan Hightower, and Matt Santella are the drivers that tried to qualify for this race, and they did not make it.
John Gorlinski, your leader. Pace car is off. Green flag flies, and we are back underway. Gorlinski and Hazard, your top two.
John Gorlinski get a good start. He has about 3 car lengths going down the corner number 1. Oh, Taller and Parker getting real close together. Actually, I believe that's Hazard, but Taller Tyler almost got in the back of Hazard going down the corner number 1 there. Remember that Hazard had some trouble on his fresh tires early on in this race. We'll see if he still continues to have trouble or if he made adjustments. But in the 3rd spot is Josh Parker right now. And Alfala coming up the outside.
You look out the back of Richard Towler. They're side by side for position behind him. Ray Alfala trying to work his way around the number 6 of Brad Davies. Davies stuck in behind the number 12 of Towler. Towler slides up the racetrack. Davies might have an opening.
Davies does get in. Remember, right behind Towler. Davies led most of the way early on in this race, so we know he's very good, but is he very good back in dirty air? Towler pushes way up the track, and that's going to let Davies get a run. Towler moves down to the inside, and now Davies is able to get under him coming through the tri-oval head down the corner number 1. Davies has position, and Towler is going to have to give up the spot.
And Towler could have walked right there, could have brake checked Davies, decided better of it, and gave up the inside line. That was smart driving from Towler. Towler's still loose.
Headed down in corner number 3, it looks like Towler does give up that spot to Davies. We've got a battle up for the 2nd position as Hazard moves. Actually, that's a battle for the lead as Hazard moves to the inside of Gorlinski going down the front straightaway. Thomas Hazard does lead that lap, and looking to the inside is also Josh Parker, so Gorlinski gives up the lead.
The battle is for 2nd and 3rd now as Josh Parker tries to move his way by John Gorlinski. Parker down to the inside of Gorlinski, and here comes JP, the lightning rod, up into 2nd spot.
Brad Davies follows him through, brings his way back up to 3rd spot, so it doesn't look like the dirty air is playing too much of a problem for Brad Davies, your early race leader early on, working his way back up through. Now Richard Towler looks at the inside of Gorlinski going down the corner number 1.
Gorlinski stuck to the outside and moving backwards here at Las Vegas, and that's exactly what we saw happen earlier on to the number 3 car of Thomas Hazard. Now Hazard has the nice clean air, able to keep it locked down to the inside, and Hazard leads.
Lewandowski makes his way past Gorlinski, and that will drop Gorlinski back to about the 6th spot, I believe. Yep, 6th.
So it's Hazard, Parker, Davies, Towler, and Lewandowski, your top 5. And I think the driver to watch might very well be Ray Alfala as Alfala looks down to the inside of Gorlinski. Ray Alfala on the move.
Yep, Alfala working his way back up, so he was no fluke early on. Very strong. Now working his way underneath Gorlinski, the 11 car of Derek Wood is working his way back up through, being followed very closely there by Josh Berry. Remember, if you like what you're seeing here, you can come join us. Just visit www.iracing.com, and if you'd like to try out the service, we are running a special for all new customers, and we have a little bit of contact between Alfala. We'll get back to that, but that's Towler up into the fence coming off corner number 4.
Richard Towler sliding down through the grass as the yellow flag will come out, and Richard Towler, the defending points champion, having a little bit of a rough start to the season.
Lap number 66, Towler again sliding through the front straightaway grass here located in the tri-oval, tearing up the grass. This time, though, he has a very heavy contact into the right side wall coming off corner number 4, and it looks like that he may have some toe issues with the back of that car, so very heavy damage on the 12 car of Richard Towler.
Yeah, that's going to really kind of take him out of contention as far as this win goes, as Towler now dog walking around this racetrack as that machine is heavily bent.
Yeah, it looks like Ray Alfala may have slipped up just a little bit, and there's a little side-by-side contact here, and these guys are coming so fast off of corner number 4 here, rubbing just a little bit, and that just set Towler loose and got him up into the fence, and his car is dog walking a little bit down the front straightaway there, so yeah, it doesn't look good for Towler right now. There's a lot of heavy damage to that car.
Leaders coming down pit road. Thomas Hazard leads the parade onto pit road. Josh Parker will follow him in as you look out the back of Hazard's number 3 to the number 27 of Josh Parker. Hazard will swing into his pit stall. Parker will swing into his. Davis will swing into his as Hazard had to back up. Overshot just a little bit, and that's going to damage his chances of coming back out with the lead. Watch the driver in that number 1 pit stall. He's the favorite to come out with this race lead.
This is going to mix things up a bit because remember, we had a lot of cars on that last caution that couldn't pit. They had to stay out and get their laps back. This will give everybody fresh tires now. And from what I see here, let's see, we have 32 cars still in the lead lap, and all 32 cars will have fresh tires.
So pit stops are complete. We are 67 laps into this race. There's your top 10. When we come back, we'll get back to green flag racing. Don't you dare go away. You're watching the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, round number 2 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, live on PSR TV.
iRacing.com is the premier online racing simulation featuring head-to-head competition on your PC. Race from your home PC, competing on the world's best real-world cars and tracks. Thousands of race fans and scores of pro racers like Dale Jr. and Justin Wilson are already racing at iRacing. Experience the thrill of victory yourself and go racing today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Lights go out. A few cars get the wave around. Looks like, well, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 cars getting that wave around. And it's going to be Brad Davies as your race leader. Fans, don't forget about the $50 iRacing.com gift certificate that you could win right here tonight. Well, you could register to win it tonight, Friday morning. During Friday morning's race, the winner will be announced. All you have to do is follow and retweet the message that's on your screen. Follow and retweet to enter to win $50 iRacing.com gift certificate. Follow and retweet, and you could find yourself winning that $50 iRacing.com gift certificate.
It's just about a third of the lap, so we'll have a restart here. Some of the guys still getting sorted out here at the back of the pack. Richard Taller still has his car out on the track, so looks like he's going to try to make some laps. We'll see if he'll be able to do that or not. But Brad Davies is your leader. Josh Parker, Thomas Lewandowski, Derek Wood, and Ray Alfala, your top 5. Alfala not receiving any type of damage or anything significant on that last contact with Taller that brought out this caution.
Pace car pulls in. Brad Davies now in control of this field. When he goes, everybody goes. Green flag flies. We're back underway.
Davies was your leader early on in this race, and he was able to stretch it out. Now that he's back out front, we'll see if he can stretch it out again. But Brad Davies in your 6 car pulls out to about a 2-3 car length lead over Josh Parker.
Parker wants to lead some laps. He wants to win this race, as a matter of fact. He knows he's already locked in as a guest on Hot Lap. He doesn't want anybody else to share his time with. He's not happy he's sharing time with Dale Earnhardt Jr. for crying out loud.
Brian Schoenberg picks up 2 or 3 positions on the restart there on the high side. So Schoenberg up to the 13th position this time by.
The whole Schoenberg trying to work his way up through this field. Brian Schoenberg, 13th spot. Steve Sheehan just got very loose on the racetrack.
Yeah, these guys are bunching up back here in corner number 3 and 4. Everybody's still grouped together, trying to pick up some spots, and it's just a chain reaction type deal. But they're beating a bang a little bit going through 3 and 4 here, but everybody's still able to keep it straight.
Steve was talking about being able to just sort of relax and ride for a little bit. That's because he had an advantage of newer tires and the drivers behind him didn't. Now everybody on equal tires, and Sheehan knows he's got a claw to keep his position in the top 10.
The number 1 car, Tyler Hudson, is fighting to the inside of the 14 car of Jeremy Allen. The 1 car seems to have the advantage, and he will pick up that spot on Allen. Yeah, the tires are still getting up to temperature. The 14 car really tight back there. That's Jeremy Allen on the outside of Brian Schoenberg on the inside. Those guys really tight through 1 and 2, but these guys still running on the cold tires, and they're just getting up to temperature. So you see them starting to sort out now, starting to get a little bit more stable, but it is very tricky for the first 5 or 6 laps here on cold tires.
Richard Towler has backed out of this race. Richard Towler done for the night. Tough break for Richard Towler. The defending points champion will have a long uphill climb ahead of him.
Yeah, this definitely will be an uphill climb, as he didn't have a real good week last week, that's for sure. He was 17th in points coming into this race, and this will not help him very much, but he's going to have a rough climb back to the championship.
Theo Olsen stuck to the high side. That's the number 7, as Olsen trying to find room to get that Alpine Stars ride back into the inside of that racetrack, and nothing doing yet. Olsen trying everything he can to get back down to the inside line. Nobody giving him an opening.
Yeah, Theo's still stuck up there on the high side. Theo, a really good driver, as we said, all these drivers are, but stuck up there on the high side. It's not easy to drive the car that fast up there on the high side and maintain position. The fastest groove is the lower groove, and you still see Theo going through 1 and 2. He's actually gaining that spot back up on the outside of the 33 car, Patrick Fogel.
.33 of Patrick Fogel on the inside. Here comes the number 4 car as well. That's Charles Cosper, one of the newer drivers to the series.
Yeah, but you see Charles has a lot of races under his belt. Actually, he is the 4th rated driver in this race, the 4th highest rated driver using the iRating system. And so Mr. Cosper there is the 4th rated driver in this race. Oh, and touch! The 7 scraped the wall a little bit there. Theo Olsen got into Cosper a little bit, but they all got away with it.
This is going to be extremely frustrating for Theo Olsen, trying to get down to the inside groove, and he almost has contact with the 31 of Chris Mayne.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting a little bit loose coming off the corners there, and when he does, that kind of sends him down to the inside line, so he's giving up a little bit now. Looks like he's going to get in line back and right there in spot, right behind the 26 car, right in front of the 40. That's Stephen
Brian
Gilbert.
Blackford.
I'm sorry, Stephen Gilbert in
spot.
Working lap number 79 now. Actually completing 79, working lap number 80 for your leader, Brad Davies. He's got about a half-second lead over Josh Parker, and that is 1.3 seconds back to Derek Wood. Thomas Lewandowski is 1.5 seconds back in 4th spot. Josh Berry in the 5th spot.
Look at the 19 car of Thomas Lewandowski as he tries to look over the number 11 just ahead of him. The 11, of course, is Derek Wood. We've talked about Derek Wood a little bit, and looks like the 11 of Derek Wood doing a pretty good job of holding off Lewandowski, at least for the time being. Brad Davies and Josh Parker, their gap really has sort of equalized. It's 0.6 of a second, and it's been that way for quite some time.
As I was saying before that last caution comes out, if you're new to this or you don't really aren't really experienced with iRacing, go ahead and visit www.iracing.com, and we do have a special up there for new members. You buy 1 month and you get 2 free, so 3 total months for the price of 1. So go on, visit www.iracing.com right now. Come join us here at iRacing, and you could be racing along with many different types of cars on many different types of tracks that we have. 45 of the world's finest tracks and 22 of the world's finest race cars you can drive here at iRacing.com. So give it a try. For the price of 1 month, you get 3 total months.
And it is a pretty spectacular deal. With that, you get all the initial content, and there's quite a bit of it. There is some great content beyond that, but there's quite a bit of initial content to sort of get your feet wet, and I highly recommend the Street Stock.
Yeah, Street Stock's a lot of fun. One of our most popular series here at iRacing, and a lot of fender banging going on in the Street Stock series. So all the Street Stock guys out there watching tonight, looking to get in this division or not. A lot of guys just like the Street Stock division, and we do have a caution.
It's Charles Cosper in the outside wall. Yellow flag will fly, and looks like Cosper may have had just a little bit of help. Got up into the outside wall, then got down into Theo Olsen. Boy, those two drivers had met before, hadn't they, Nim?
Yeah, they got a little paint on the left side of their cars. Now it's on the right side of the cars. But it looked like Cosper might have had to check up a little bit or react a little bit to Connor McKenzie, maybe pushing him up the track a little bit there. I believe that's Connor McKenzie. Let me just double check. Yeah, Connor McKenzie in the pink car, the 18 car, and then he went down, got into the 7 car, and that turned him around. So a good smack against the wall for the number 4 car of Cosper there. Rookie driver here on this season, actually doing a really good job up to that point, and you know, just one of those racing deals there.
Tough break for Charles Cosper, and he's insisting that Connor ran him up to the high side. And, you know, that's something that Connor McKenzie has every right to do. It's his racetrack as well. None of these drivers has any more right to any particular piece of real estate than a different driver. And if you get pushed up out of your groove, you get pushed up out of your groove. And that's just one of the deals that happens in racing.
Yeah, he probably wasn't expecting to come up a little bit there, and he may have, you know what, yeah, just looking at the replay, he may have overreacted a little bit because, yeah, Connor did move up a little bit. He moved up a little bit there, but he probably wasn't moving up as much as he thought, so he might have overreacted just a little bit. You know, it's one of those racing deals. Neither one of those guys wanted to wreck, and nobody wanted to wreck each other, and it just happens, and that's part of racing.
Pit stops taking place, and what a slide into his pit stall by Josh Parker. He just kind of locked it down, slid it in there, and the crew goes to work replacing all 4 tires. You saw it from the roof cam of the car behind Parker. Is now Parker down and away, trying to win the battle off from pit road. It's not going to happen. It's going to be Brad Davies winning the race off pit road.
Yeah, Davies got that preferred spot out there out front for winning the pole. That gives him that number 1 pit stall and allows him to just drive straight out and maintain his top spot. So Davies, Parker, and it looks like the 11 car of Derek Wood, and then we have the 19 of Lewandowski, the top 4 cars off of pit road.
So it's going to be Davies leading the charge off from pit road as we get set to return to racing action. Right ahead of Davies, we see Dana Weimer, Jamison Spiess have stayed out on the racetrack. They are, I believe, 1 or more laps down. Spiess is 1 lap down. Dana Weimer is 2 laps down, and looks like Spiess will stay on the racetrack, and Dana Weimer likely to consider at least a run down pit road. He does not as well. Both of those drivers will be given the wave around.
Yeah, that'll allow Spieth to get back on the lead lap and Weimer to get one of those laps back. So maybe he'll get a caution later on and be able to get the other lap back. But right now we have, it looks like 34 cars, 35 with Spieth on the lead lap, on lap number 87 of 133. So right now 33 cars on the lead lap. I'm sorry, 35. Drivers out of the race so far is Ben Sexton, Richie Davidowitz, Robert Hall, and Richard Towler. Ben Sexton will wind up in the 40th position. 39th will go to Richie Davidowitz, and Robert Hall 38th. Richard Towler will wind up in the 37th position tonight.
Well, we may have Richard Towler's 2 drops for the season, 17th coming out of Daytona and 37th here. This will likely be one of his drops. I can't fathom 2 more finishes worse than 37 for RT. Can you?
No, definitely not. This will definitely win, and he'll make his way back. You know, he's going to be challenging for this championship by the end of the year. He's too good of a driver not to, and we'll see him. But you know, the competition is tighter and tougher than it was last year, and you know, you got a lot of the drivers running him hard, and that's gonna make for these types of mistakes. So you know, it's easy to go fast when you have an open track, but when you get a lot of cars around you, you know, you got a little bit different racing you got to do, and you got to have a setup that's going to be able to handle that, and you're going to have to, you know, take that into account as we head through the season here. And you know, there's going to be a lot of challenges, so this is going to be a tougher year for Towler to defend, and it's not off to a good start yet.
No, it certainly isn't off to a good start. Lights are out, wave arounds being issued, and Brad Davies will once again reassume control of this field. He's going to have Josh Parker right to the outside again. Parker in the ex-Lander Bodine sponsored ride.
Brad Davies so far looking good out front. He was your runner-up last season for the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. So Davies knows how to get it done, and he's making some statements early on here. Davies currently, he didn't have a real good run last week, though. He did there at the end, but got caught up in a wreck, and he finished 25th last week. He's currently 25th in the points. So this is Davies having a good run and trying to make his way to the top of this championship fight.
And, of course, Brad Davies just narrowly missing his opportunity for $10,000 in a championship one season ago. Looking like he's had a much more consistent run thus far as we head towards 2011. Brad Davies doing very, very well here, at least at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He doesn't really want to talk about Daytona, though.
No, but he is from Florida. From the Florida area, though, running out front here. He's had that warm weather all weekend that we're trying to get a little bit of up here, up north. So hopefully we'll get some of that warm weather he's got soon as the pace car is off and the green flag waving.
Green flag is out. We are back under racing conditions. 88 laps complete. Working lap number 89. Less than 60 laps to go. As a matter of fact, less than 50 laps remain.
Yeah, lap number 89, 33, 44 laps to go here till the end of the race. So these guys are good on tires and fuel. 44 laps will be a long run on the tires, but they're definitely able to make it that long. And the guys who save tires will have an advantage. Right now, Alfala gets a little bit high coming off of number 4. He's got Josh Berry down on the inside of him, battle for the 5th position. Alfala going backwards, and Berry taking over that spot with Gorlinski right behind him.
So it's Davies, Wood, Parker, and Lewandowski, your top 4. 5th spot is Josh Berry. Nice run for Josh Berry thus far here at Las Vegas. We've got some issues on the backstretch.
Looks like Pedro Mujica may be involved, Matthew Moose. Looks like going down through corner number 3 and 4, the Pedro got up the track a little bit, and he got into the car of Stephen Gilbert. And that sent Gilbert way up in the outside wall, really hard with the back end of the car. And then somebody else piling in right there, but real hard hit for Gilbert.
That's not what you want to have happen here in the late stages of a race. You don't want to have it happen in any stage of a race, for that matter. Just really tough to wind up having contact late in the race when it's just about time to make it go time. And the back of the pack right now, it is go time. The front of the pack, not yet.
Yeah, well, they're where they want to be, you know, in this chess game here. We got 40-some laps to go, a little about 40 laps to go, and this is a chess game. And the guys up front are positioned properly. The guys in the back, they don't like their strategy right now. They don't like their position, so they're trying to get their way up to the front here, and they're taking some chances. And that time by Pedro got up the track a little bit, and that caused some problems with another car. And it doesn't take much here, Daryl. One tiny little mistake, especially at the speeds these guys are running and the level of competition, how close they're running, one tiny little mistake can cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. Yeah. A lot of drivers electing not to pit this time by. They just pitted for tires just a couple of laps ago, so a lot of guys don't want to give up that track position. Leaders know that if they pit, the guys behind aren't going to pit, and the guys in behind, if the leaders pit, they're not going to pit, so nobody's going to pit.
Fans, we'll be right back. We'll reset your top 10. We'll go back to Green Flag Racing. When we come back, you're watching the second round of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship live from Las Vegas Motor Speedway on PSR TV.
iRacing.com is the premier online racing simulation featuring head-to-head competition on your PC. Race from your home PC, competing on the world's best real-world cars and tracks. Thousands of race fans and scores of pro racers like Dale Jr. and Justin Wilson are already racing at iRacing. Experience the thrill of victory yourself and go racing today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 40 laps remain here in the desert. Your top 10 look a little something like this. Brad Davies is your race leader. Derek Wood sits in second. Josh Parker is third. Fourth is Thomas Lewandowski. Fifth belongs to Josh Berry. Sixth is Ray Alfala. Seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th are John Gorlin, Steve Sheehan, Brad Wright, and Thomas Hazard, respectively.
You are watching the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, and NASCAR is the sanctioning body for this race. And if you want to be a NASCAR driver, if you join iRacing, there are a number of different series you can start out in. So you can join iRacing.com, and you can drive the NASCAR late models, the SK Modified division. We've got the NASCAR trucks, the Nationwide Type Series cars in our B class, and this car you can drive in our A class division. Right now what you're watching is the NASCAR iRacing.com World Championship class. These are the top 40 drivers in this race of all the drivers on the service. So come on and join us, and you too can be a NASCAR driver here at iRacing.com.
Green flag and a big wiggle for Derek Wood. Wood had some wheel spin, and that opened the door for Josh Parker. JP up to second.
Yeah, Parker up second, actually. Yeah, Parker, he's getting challenged right now by Derek Wood. A lot of battling side-by-side back in the pack here, as looks like Theo Olsen making his way up through. Josh Berry looking to the inside of Alfala coming down the corner number 3. But Davies does lead Wood over Parker.
Davies continues his dominance, and this has been the Brad Davies show this season. We've got a car around.
Jeremy Allen's involved. Hard up into the catch fencing there a little bit. Connor McKenzie is involved. Looks like coming off of corner number 4, Jeremy Allen was down on the inside of Thomas Hazard, and Hazard up against the wall, and Jeremy Allen down on the inside right there. They make contact. That turns Jeremy Allen around, and he spins around, and he comes back down into the middle of the traffic. Some cars had nowhere to go. McKenzie involved, and a number of other cars. Hard contacts going down the front straightaway in corner 1.
Tony Hawk's got nothing on Jeremy Allen. Jeremy Allen had some serious rotation going in that one.
You see the wreck right there from Justin Tremblay's car. Tremblay very, very damaged on the rear end of his car, so it's going to be tough for Tremblay to get back into it.
Last week's runner-up, Pedro Mojica, got caught up in that one as well. Tough break for Pedro, as second week in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Not quite as good as the first week for Pedro.
Yeah, Greg Spears also involved. He's got a bit of damage on the car.
I don't think anybody got as bad a run through that as the number 14 did. That was quite the ride for Jeremy Allen. And Allen, if he wasn't dizzy before the wreck, certainly he's dizzy now.
Getting down here to the end of it, Daryl, and these guys are pushing it a little bit harder than they were early in the race. And we see down the end of this race, guys trying to make up this position. This kind of incident happens right there. Those two guys, I know those two guys are teammates, and they didn't want to wreck each other. Hazard and Jeremy Allen there, I know they're good friends. And just a slight contact, whether Hazard got up a little bit or Jeremy got down a little bit, I don't know. But, those guys didn't want to wreck, just trying hard, and this is what happened.
And it's unfortunate. We should, by the way, mention that we've got some people asking, well, geez, do I have to wait until I'm an A-level driver to drive one of these Cup cars? No. You don't. You have to wait until you're an A-level driver to drive it in official iRacing competition. However, private servers you can race on, and you can also race under a test session. I'm, I believe, a Class C or a D. I think I'm a D on the oval side, and I can go out and drive one of these Cup cars whenever I feel like. I just can't do it as part of an official iRacing event.
And remember, Darrell, we do have the Carburetor Cup, and that allows anybody on the service to go in and race these cars with with anybody, and all the drivers are signed up to the Carburetor Cup races. They are more along the lines of fun type races, to where all the guys get together and race these cars and actually get a lot of experience in these cars before they start moving over to the structured side of the competition here at iRacing.
35 laps remain here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and of all the cars, I should say, within the iRacing service, the drivers say that this car is the hardest to drive. If you want to get an idea on what these drivers are going through, pick up the Cup car with the iRacing service and go out there and try it at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You will not find it easy. I can almost assure you of that. It's a very, very difficult car to drive. I have a hard time making a lap or two. A little bit better now that I've got my sim boots. I've got a little bit more throttle control, but still not able to make too many laps in this Cup car.
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of practice as the lights go out on the safety car, and 1 lap till green. We will get green at the end of lap 100 here, so 33 laps to go when we get the green flag here, Darrell, and probably green the whole way. So these guys will have to be careful with these tires, don't you think?
Well, we'll see what happens, and we'll see how many of these drivers can afford to go easy and try to take care of their tires. I know up at the front they can afford to go a little bit easy and take care of their tires, but I would say drivers from, maybe 15th on back cannot afford to take it easy and take care of their tires. They've got to roll the dice and get everything they can right now. We talked about gambling here in Las Vegas, one of the only places that's legal outside of a Native American reservation in most of the United States. I believe there's Vegas and Atlantic City. The rest of it, you're not supposed to gamble. So here at Las Vegas, the gamble now is how hard do you go and how early.
Looks like Jamison Spies has called it a day. He will probably call it a day here in the 35th position. So Jamison Spies, 2 tough weeks in a row out of this race.
Some of our viewers pointing out that the Silver Crown and the Sprint cars are more difficult to drive than the Cup cars, and I would have to agree. That Silver Crown is a beast. I don't yet have the Sprint car. Here we go. Green flag flies. We are underway.
A couple of guys spinning the tires on the restart there. The 40 car, one of them, Brian Blackford, he doesn't lose any positions, but he gets a little bit squirrely on the restart. They head down corner number 1. Brad Davies will hold on to the top position. Josh Parker will fall in behind him.
Josh Parker knows if he's got something to offer, he's got to use it now. If he has anything for Brad Davies, now's the time to show it. If he lets Davies check out, Davies will be gone.
Thomas Lewandowski's hung up on the high side back there. May have gotten in the wall a little bit coming off of corner number 2, but he's able to hang on the control. John Gorlinski gets by him. Josh Berry gets up by him. So he drops 2 positions that last lap.
Wood had that wobble on the restart again. That's what put him back to 3rd spot. Josh Parker was able to get down into the inside where he needed to get. Wood now drops down to 3rd. Yet again, Josh Parker gets a better restart than does Derek Wood, but nobody gets a better restart than Brad Davies. Davies has led us to green all night long.
Again, we're seeing the top 5 look very similar to the top 5 race of last season. Brad Davies, Josh Parker, Derek Wood, Ray Alfala, and John Gorlinski. All these guys fought all season long last season, and they're continuing their fight right here into the 2nd race of the 2011 championship, starting out right. Greg Spears exits the race, and he'll be done, and he'll finish in the, looks like the 32nd position.
Josh Parker trying to close it on Brad Davies. This could be a battle for the top spot. Davies working hard. Josh Parker, you ride on the roof of Josh Parker's number 27, the Verdane X-Lander Design Solutions sponsored ride. Verdane Racing, of course, a league utilizing the iRacing software, as Josh Parker, JP, the lightning rod, starting to track down Mr. Cool, Brad Davies.
Back in the pack a little ways, Brad Wright picks up position on Tyler Hudson to move Brad Wright up into the 9th position. Tyler Hudson back to the 10th spot.
And Davies has led us to green every time except for one. Here tonight we had one green flag that Brad Davies did not lead us to. Everything else has been all Brad Davies thus far here tonight. He sat on the pole in qualifying, and he has led the overall majority of this race. Brad Davies getting the job done here at Las Vegas. Here's what we want you to do. We want you to experience the fury of Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Crank those speakers up as loud as you can. Don't worry about the neighbors. They're not going to do anything to you. Well, they might, so don't go too loud. If you got headset, you got surround sound, crank it all the way up. We're going to take you for a lap or so around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Enjoy the sights and sounds of NASCAR with iRacing.
Last time around, the 15 car of Brad Wright slipped up the track a little bit, pushed Steve Sheehan up the track, and you see him fighting right now. Those guys lost about 3 positions while the 15 car pushed the 25 up the track, but the 25 now gets back under the 15 car, so that one pass that Brad tried to make right there lost him about 3 or 4 spots that last time by. And even going in the corner number 1 the last time, the 15 car of Brad Wright got into the wall a little bit going down corner number 1.
A lot of action around this 10th, 11th position as here comes Wright once again trying to look down to the inside of Steve Sheehan. Sheehan slams the door shut.
Guys getting sorted out right now, working lap number 110 of 133. 24 laps to go this time by, or as we cross the line this time, it'll be 23 laps to go.
.23 to go, 110 laps complete here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and it is now go time for everyone involved, and Brad Davies is pulling away from Josh Parker.
Yep, the distance right now about 7 tenths, almost 8 tenths of a second lead for Davies. Davies the strongest car on the track all day long. He's been out front because that's where he deserves to be. Then it's 1.5 seconds from the leader back to Derek Wood. Ray Alfala is about 1.9 seconds back. And then we have John Gorlinski, 2.2 seconds, running in the top 5.
Your top 10, Brad Davies, Josh Parker, Derek Wood, Ray Alfala, John Gorlinski. Your top 5, 6th through 10th, Josh Berry, Thomas Lewandowski, Tyler Hudson, Jason Burstein, and Thomas Hazard. Steve Sheehan comes under assault from the number 15 of Wright. Wright passes him up. Sheehan says, "Go ahead, young man. I'll see you in a little while." Steve Sheehan losing ground rapidly. Look at the 5. Way down on the apron trying to get a run on Sheehan.
Yeah, he'll make it happen going in the corner number 1. There is no yellow line rule or apron rule here. That was a legal pass, so the 5 car is able to make a pass on Steve Sheehan, and that will move him up in the 12th position.
Sheehan dropping back just a little bit, almost makes contact with the wall, trying to use every inch of racetrack that he can use as Steve Sheehan looks over the number 5 of Brian Schoenberg.
Yeah, he looks like he might be able to make a challenge back on Schoenberg. Maybe Schoenberg's car works better when he's following another, but right now Sheehan is all over the bumper of Schoenberg and makes that pass going down the corner number 3.
And that's going to be a frustrating spot for Schoenberg to be in because he could see that pass coming. He could feel that pass coming, and yet at the same time, Nim, there was nothing he could do about it. There was no way to stop that pass from happening. Sheehan was destined to find his way by.
Yeah, Sheehan definitely had the better car there and better driving too. It looks like maybe the 5 car, Schoenberg, giving up a little bit coming out of the corner. Sheehan able to still drive up off the corner quite well.
Looking at the 13 and the 1 machines as they battle on the racetrack. Jason Burstein is in the number 13 as he tries to track down Tyler Hudson. Hudson, a future guest on Hot Lap Radio as well.
Yeah, this is a battle for the 8th spot right now. Hudson Holton and Bernstein wants it. Bernstein doing a really good job. We haven't talked about Jason Bernstein all day long, but he had a good solid run up in the 9th position right now.
And don't forget to follow and retweet. There we go. We got a Twitter contest to enter to win $50 in iRacing.com gift certificate value, as it looks like we are wowing them down here at Las Vegas. Yellow flag flies. It's the 35 of Nolan Scott. Nolan Scott has found himself upside down on the racetrack, and it looked like the back end just sort of stepped out, nowhere to go. Had a little bit of contact from the 17, and around went Nolan Scott up on the roof and sliding down through the grass. Had a little bit of contact, flipped it over a couple more times, and wound up on his wheels and actually tried to drive it out.
Yeah, Josh Connor got a little bit of a piece of that, but he's spinning around on the roof there a little bit, and there's no rubber to slow him down. So he was trying to give Jeremy Allen a good run for the spin money there, but I don't think he got it. I think Jeremy still holds that title.
Yeah, he didn't get the spin money, and he did get the inverted spin money, however. So, you know, he's got that.
Right. That's right. He had a twist in there, so maybe a higher level of difficulty.
But still, nobody has yet to stick the landing. And in order to stick the landing, you got to land this thing and just drive on out of it, finish your lap, and try to keep a decent amount of speed up. He didn't stick the landing, and unfortunately for him, the Russian judge only gave him a 3.
About 15 laps to go or so in this race, and your leaders and everybody else heading down the pit road. The way tires wear and stuff like that, it's not going to be a good idea to stay out. So everybody heading down the pit road. Let's see if anybody tries to take 2 and try to get out front here. But Davies, see if he can't take the lead.
Davies trying to win the race off on pit road, and he will not. 4 tires for Davies, and it's going to be 2 tires for Thomas Hazard.
Hazard and Sheehan, I believe, take 2 tires and try to get out front. I don't know, Darryl. They're going to need some cautions, quick cautions, to be able to stay out front. Maybe they'll be the cautions. They got to watch out because these old tires are a lot slower than the new ones. So this is going to be put some drama up front here, and it's going to be pretty tight.
Well, they're counting on some pit stops, or some yellow flags, we should say, and I think they're going to get them. I think they're going to get those quick yellow flags, and chances are we'll see at least 2, maybe even 3 before the end of this thing.
Yeah, but the deal is, are they going to be one of them? I mean, they're out front, and they're holding back these pack of wolves that are right behind them. These guys aren't going to wait, and it's 2 of them. It's the whole front row on this restart is going to be, guys on old tires, and they're going to be in the way, basically. So we'll see what happens. And they got 2 tires here, though, so it might not be as bad as what I was thinking. I was thinking old tires, but they do have 2 right sides on there, and then so we'll see how it works.
We'll see how thorough they've practiced, and if I know Steve Sheehan has practiced every scenario. He's not only practiced 2 tires, he's practiced 2 tires with damage, 2 tires without damage. He's practiced 2 right side tires, 2 left side tires. He knows exactly what that car is going to do, no matter what position he puts it in on the racetrack. He's practiced 2 tires, right side only, with damage in traffic, I'm willing to bet.
Remember, there's a lot of money on the line here, Daryl, and these guys do practice. They practice all week long. They'll start practicing tonight after this race is over for Bristol in 2 weeks. So, you know, there's $10,500 to go to the winner of this series. So, and then, you know, they get paid back on, I believe it's 12 spots to the back. So, $10,500 to the winner. That's enough to get anybody practicing for if you got the talent to do this.
Yeah, $10,500, and these drivers know that that this is the real deal. Now, we talked about this last week, how the pressures are a little bit higher than the drivers felt last year because it actually happened last year, and there were some of the drivers that were able to convince themselves that, you know what, maybe the $10,000 wasn't really going to be paid out. It didn't really mean $10,000 went to the winner. It was probably going to be iRacing credits, even though iRacing said, no, this is a check, this is money. There were drivers that believed, because of experiences with other organizations and other groups, that for some reason that money wasn't going to go to whoever won this championship last year, that maybe that wasn't going to be the case. iRacing proved themselves to be 100% legitimate, so now these drivers know that cash prize, whatever iRacing says is there and is ready to be given out. So it just sort of makes it a little bit more real for these drivers.
And you know what? A lot of these drivers want even more than money, and that's to stand on the stage down there, the same stage as Jimmy Johnson stood on last year and a number of the other champions last year. So, you know, Richard Thaler stood on the stage with NASCAR and accepted the check, the ring, the trophy, the jacket, and went all to the, you know, to all the different parties and banquets that were going on down there in Homestead weekend, and he was a part of being a true NASCAR Series champion, and that is just as compelling to these drivers as the money is.
So Thomas Hazard is your leader. Steve Sheehan sits in second. Brad Davies is third. Fourth is Josh Parker. Fifth is was Connor McKenzie. Now it's Derek Wood. Sixth is Ray Alfala. Here we go. We are getting set for the restart. The Dirty Dozen. 12 laps left to go. Green flag flies, and what a restart for Thomas Hazard. No such luck for Sheehan.
Yeah, Sheehan, you know, these old tires, he feathered the throttle, and it didn't work out real well for him. Hopefully it doesn't cause any problems for Davies and Parker back there, who I don't think jumped the start, but we'll see what happens there. But Sheehan on those old tires, and now the 11 car, Derek Wood, blocking the Alfala car down the back straightaway pretty hard.
Grab every position you can, block everyone you need to block. That's just the way it works. Here on the last 12 laps, make it 11 laps. 11 laps remain here at Vegas.
Yeah, these guys trying to get their positions now. Alfala trying to work over Wood. Josh Berry right there behind Alfala. He's trying to pick up a spot, but these guys were saying very hard as we got a battle up front.
Brad Davies has caught Thomas Hazard. Can Hazard slow Davies up enough where there's a battle between Davies and Parker for second? That's the best thing that Hazard can hope for. No, Davies down to the inside of the number 3 of Thomas Hazard. Davies has the run. He has the line and he has the corner, and now Brad Davies once again has the lead.
Yeah, this is what Hazard doesn't need. He doesn't need these long green flag runs. He's got the old left side tires on the car. He's got Sheehan right behind him. Actually, after the restart, Sheehan's doing pretty good on those tires now. He's up challenging Hazard for that third position. So Sheehan actually doing pretty good, but now they got the train behind them with all the guys with Wood going by and Alfala going by, all these guys with new tires, and now they might be dropping back, and they got to make sure that they're not the caution that they need.
Yeah, and I don't think Steve Sheehan will be a cause of a caution. I don't think Thomas Hazard will be the cause of a caution. These are very talented drivers, although if you look at the caution counts from last year, the caution counts were incredibly high, a lot lower thus far this year. We've seen a lot cleaner racing here as part of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship.
Fowler slips off the track there in corner number 4, and that caused Steve Sheehan to get on the brakes a little bit, and he got real loose, and he's losing a number of spots there because he had the track up for Alfala as Josh Berry was making his way by. But Alfala losing a number of spots, and getting real sideways now off corner number 2, and we got a wreck on car on the wall. It looks like they're going to save it, though.
He wrecked. He just forgot to spin. Good grief.
Now Sheehan's up in the wall. He got hit by the 21 car going into corner number 4, and those old tires are proven to be really bad for Sheehan as he just got checked up into the fence there. So the 21 car, Joshua Lofton got into Sheehan there and going into corner number 4.
Yeah, Lawton got into Sheehan, and Sheehan wound up in the outside wall, so Lawton has contact. Top 2, we could have a battle up here as Josh Parker once again trying to close it on Brad Davies.
Alfala looking his way by Hazard. That's a battle back there for the 8th position.
Davies is your leader. Parker sits in second. Parker trying to track him down. He shaved off 1/10 of a second last lap by. Now, can he get the line to track down Brad Davies? We heard about that dirty air. The dirty air that John Prather told us about. Once you get nestled up behind somebody, it's hard to make that last 1/10 of a second. Is there it goes, 3/10 of a second now. The distance that Brad Davies has put on, making a 4/10 of a second gap.
Yeah, Davies is the strongest car all day, and I don't see Parker having anything for him right now, unless Parker made some kind of adjustment on the last spot, but he's losing time right now. Back in the pack, it looks like everybody's single file. The 5 car of Brian Schoenberg looking to the inside of Brad Wright. His right got a little bit loose coming off corner 4 the last time by. Schoenberg down to the inside trying to make his way into the top 10.
Another 1/10 of a second put on between the leaders as Brad Davies continues to check out. 4 laps remain here in this one.
Five car up. Schoenberg does pick up that spot on Wright, and that'll move Wright back into the 11th spot. Brad Wright, I believe, is your top running driver for all the new drivers in the series this season. Brad Wright, one of those pretty safe, consistent drivers, kind of a Terry Labonte type.
Sheehan has been in the wall off from turn number 4. That should bring out a yellow flag. Sheehan throws it in reverse and tries to clear the racetrack as quick as he can. Pace car will come out, and that will likely end it, Nim.
Yeah, this is the problem with the unknown tires is everybody wants by you, and you really don't want to let them by, so you might squeeze them just a little bit, and that guy's trying harder to get by you, and in this case, I don't know if Sheehan had a problem or had contact there. It was kind of close, so not sure what brought Sheehan up in the wall. Maybe a blown tire there, but 25 car very heavily in the wall coming off corner number 4, and this probably will end our race, and Brad Davies will probably bring it home.
Two laps remain. We'll be coming to the white flag and the yellow flag still displayed, so we will not be going back to green. That means Brad Davies will likely win.
Yeah, Brad Davies. All he's do is follow one more line around the pace car, and he's making his championship run again here, Darrell. He's strong all last season, and he's making it clear to everybody else that he's going to be a challenger for this year's championship. Josh Parker also, challenger last season. He had some problems in some races last year, but if Josh can put together some good strong runs and not have those blow-up races, he might be a challenger for the championship. So I think this race is playing out to let us know who our players are going to be for this year's title.
And you mentioned the blow-up races for Josh Parker. That wasn't blown motors. It wasn't blown tires. It was temper for Josh Parker. Josh Parker is a lightning rod, and he's trying to keep his nose clean and did so all race long here this afternoon and this evening. So Josh Parker kind of showing a little bit more mature side of Josh Parker, which is nice to see, and he showed some glimpses of it last year as well.
Yeah, he had a good race tonight. He did. That car looks perfectly clean to me, and he's done a good job tonight. So we'll have to string together about 16 more of them, and he could be our series champion when we bring him down to Homestead.
So the checkered flag in hand, and they will be unfurled, and no drama in the close of this one as Brad Davies will take the win. But in all honesty, even if it went green, I don't think there was going to be a lot of drama anyways. Brad Davies was destined to win here at Las Vegas.
Yeah, Brad Davies in the Whiskey River car is your winner of the Las Vegas 200. In the NASCAR-iRace.com Series World Championship, race number 2, Brad Davies, your winner.
So Davies puts Whiskey River in victory lane 1 week after Ray, or 2 weeks after Ray Alfala puts his car in victory lane, the JDR Graphics sponsored ride. So we've had 2 different drivers visit victory lane, but they are 2 drivers that have a common link. They are both DMP competitors. Brad Davies down through the grass, the first time that car's been out of shape all night long, and he's doing it on purpose. Davies will spin it down through the grass, and you can't even get it to spin all the way around for him. Davies just has too much car control. He'll drive down through the grass, bumping and jiving and ducking and weaving. Brad Davies, your winner here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. See your top 10 on the screen, and your top 2 drivers, if we can lock Brad Davies down, will be guests on Hot Lap Radio coming up in 1 week, along with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Brad Davies will be invited to be part of the show. Josh Parker is already confirmed. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is confirmed. Brad Davies is the only missing piece, and he will get his invitation here tonight. So that's going to wrap up the racing action. Don't go anywhere. Post-race coming up next. We'll see if we can talk to Davies, Parker, Wood, and some of these drivers that finished up at the front of the field. We'll be right back. Post-race coming up next on PSR TV.
iRacing.com is the premier online racing simulation featuring head-to-head competition on your PC. Race from your home PC, competing on the world's best real-world cars and tracks. Thousands of race fans and scores of pro racers like Dale Jr. and Justin Wilson are already racing at iRacing. Experience the thrill of victory yourself and go racing today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back here on PSR TV. You've just seen it all go down. Brad Davies dominates here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and Davies leads 106 laps, Nim. Nim, I do believe you're down in victory lane. I think you've caught up with who we believe to be Brad Davies. Nim?
I'm down here with Brad. Sorry about that, Daryl. Forgot to pull the antenna up. Brad, excellent race out there. Dominant performance over everybody. You got back there in traffic once after the pit stops, and you still looked like pretty good back there in dirty air. But an absolutely dominating run today, and tell us about it.
Well, thanks, guys. I think the key was getting the pole. You know, being out there and getting clean air from the get-go was a big help. I think anybody, to be realistic, I think anybody in the top 10 or 15, even if they had gotten the pole, they could have probably been able to have done what I did as far as pulling away like that. The clean air is so important. Once you get back in traffic, especially after you get about 5 laps on your tires, you pretty much can't pass anybody towards the front. So you just have to sit and ride from then on.
Yeah, definitely out front, the clean air helped you out. Also helped you out is the pit stops. You had good pit stops. You had that front row pit stall, so that looked good out there. What were you thinking on the last pit stop where the 2 cars were out in front of you with the old left side tires? What was going through your mind on that restart?
Well, I was just hoping that they could hang on to it on the restart because the restarts, even with fresh tires, are really crazy at Vegas. There's not a lot of grip, and it's really difficult coming up to the gears. And I knew if they were going to be on only right side tires, it was going to be especially difficult for them. So I just wanted them to keep it straight and get going as fast as possible so that things could get spread out. And then once things got spread out, I thought I had a good shot of getting by the cars with 2 tires. I think Steve had a little bit of trouble on the restart, and I was able to get by him real quick. Went down into turn 1, and it took me a couple laps to catch up to Thomas Hazard there. He had a pretty good car, but in the end, the 4 tires prevailed.
Yeah, no doubt the 4 tires were going to be good, but you had a great run last season. You challenged Towler the whole way through the season. You wound up second in that championship. This race has got to make you feel strong for what you can do in this year's championship.
Well, it does, and I really just wanted to rebound, from last week. Daytona was not the finish that I wanted there. I just wanted to come out this week and have a strong finish, and I guess you could say you can't get much stronger than first, so I'm pretty happy about that, and I'll be getting ready for next week here, or in 2 weeks, I guess.
Well, Brad, congratulations on your win here tonight at Vegas in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Go ahead and thank all those people you want to thank.
Yeah, thanks, Nim. First, I want to thank PSR TV for putting this on for everybody to watch. You guys did a great job. Also, want to thank Whiskey River. They came back with me, came back on board this year. Had them last year, and they were excited about coming back this year. So, big shout out to them for supporting me again this year. Also, a big thanks goes out to iRacing for making all this possible.
Thank you, Brad. Daryl, back up to you. And Brad Davies, your winner of the Las Vegas 200.
Again, congratulations to Brad Davies. We'll move on to the driver that we believe to be at least unofficially the points leader, Josh Parker. Josh, it didn't look like anybody had anything for that 6 car tonight, but you gave it everything you had, buddy.
Yeah, I tried. I think the only way I would have had a shot Sorry, had a little technical difficulty there. The only way I had a shot is if, within the first lap to 10 or so on a restart, before the arrow started kicking in a lot. It seemed like after 10 or so laps, I fell off Brad a bit, and I really couldn't do anything until a yellow came out.
You gave it everything you had, and we saw that you kept that car about as clean as we've seen you keep a car all season long. Is this indicative of the way that the 2011 season is going to go for Josh Parker? Is this the new and improved JP?
I'm going to try. Yeah, like I said, last race, it's a good way to start the season, build stepping stones. And especially with the new point system, it's really going to hurt if you have a bad race, so you're going to be consistent. And I feel that I would like to win. I'm going to try to win. But if it comes down to a race like today, I'm going to do whatever I can to win. But I'm also going to do whatever I can to stay somewhere up there so I can gain as many points as possible.
Well, you came home third at Daytona, second place here tonight. Both races on the podium, knocking on that door for the race win. It's got to feel good to know that you are the most consistent driver in the series right now.
Yeah, time's going to change, trust me. Anything can happen. Look at last season. People were... This race last year, we had Sandeep running with like 3 rear tires and winning the race because we had a melee on a restart. And any race can happen like that. These cars are a handful to drive, especially on old tires. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, karma will stay my way and I'll have good runs.
Josh, before we let you go, let's hear about your sponsors, friends, teammates who helped you get to where you are, bud.
Yeah, Xlander Designs, Xlander.com. If you want a website, go to them. Really good. Hot Lap Radio, new radio show we started. Daryl, you do all the announcing with Tim Terry. It's awesome. We got Junior on next week. Please listen. It's going to be good. HotLapRadio.com. And then Daryl, have you seen all these cars out there lately? Half the field, right? The paint schemes.
I believe those are JDR Graphics paint schemes, aren't they, buddy?
They are JD Graphics paint schemes. They're pretty amazing. The guy does everything for free, and they're probably the best schemes on the net. Go to jdrgraphics.com. I'll find them on Facebook. They could paint a bunch of cars for free, and they look awesome. I mean, about 3/4 of the field runs this car, so check them out.
And that number grows every single week about how many people drive those paint schemes from JDR Graphics. That's going to wrap it up with Josh Parker. We'll pitch it over to Nim Cross, who's caught up with Derek Wood. Nim?
Derek, a good run tonight in third position, finishing up. Pretty quiet run for you tonight. You were up in some battles, but not a lot of action around you, which is probably good.
Yeah, it was a solid run. Car was good the whole night. I never made single change to it. Just track position was everything. I felt like if I could have ever got the lead, I could have held on to it, much the same that Brad did throughout the race. But yeah, it was actually a pretty quiet race from my point of view. Little excitement at the end with the guys taking 2 tires, but it was pretty smooth, pretty solid run.
This finish definitely helping you in your quest for the NASCAR-iRacing.com Series World Championship Season 2. You had a good run last year, a good run for points. How's it looking so far this year, and does this set you up for a good run?
Oh yeah, if I could, obviously I'd like to have won tonight, but I mean, if I can just roll out top 5s every week like this, I'll be right there. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think I have a good base for a lot of the speedway type tracks like Vegas to work on, and should be good going forward.
Well, but definitely a very good run for you. Third place tonight. That'll bring you home somewhere in the neighborhood of 41 points, and that'll be a good start for you. Go ahead and thank those people you want to thank, and good luck at Bristol.
Yeah, I definitely want to thank my sponsors for the Oval Series this year, which is Whiskey River and Junior Motorsports, and always got to thank JD Laird for painting my car. I think it looks awesome out there. So thanks again to those guys. It's really cool to have sponsors.
Congratulations, Derek, on your third place finish here in Las Vegas 200. back up to Daryl.
Thank you very much. We're going to see if we can't catch up with fourth-place finisher. And points coming in right now, and it looks like it's going to be Ray Alfala leaving here as the points leader. He'll do that with a solid seventh-place finish after the win at Daytona. So Alfala with a narrow points lead over Josh Parker. And then it's Lewandowski, Hazard, and Gorlinski to round out your top 5 in points leaving here. We'll give you the gaps when we get them. You can also get those at NASCAR.com and at iRacing.com. We're going to go ahead and see if we can't catch up with Josh Berry. Josh, you had a solid run here, buddy.
Yeah, I had a good car all night, really. As I'm sure Top 3 said, man, the aero was so important trying to get there. So I was just trying to kind of take my time and make it up there. But there at the end, that was the highest I'd been the whole race, so I'm pretty happy with that.
You worked as hard as you could. You got to the front of the pack, which is where you needed to be. You started in 7th. You finished in 4th, but you found yourself at all different places throughout this race tonight.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty wild, especially the restarts, man, because everybody just had to take it so hard just because you really had about 5 laps to really make up time. So it was pretty tough on the restarts, making sure you don't make a mistake as well as just, trying to take everything you could before we got strung out, because it seemed like after about 5 or 6 laps, it just kind of you pretty much were stuck where you were with just how it was because you just started getting tight.
You did everything you could. You wind up with a strong 4th-place finish here, Josh. Before we let you go, let's hear about your sponsors, friends, teammates who helped you get to where you are.
Yep, thanks, guys. Overall, it was a good night. I'm happy with that. That's what you need to be up in the points, especially after Daytona. I didn't do too good there, but just want to thank everybody at iRacing, PSR TV, NASCAR, of course, for putting this deal together and broadcasting these races. Y'all do an awesome job, and everybody at Main Performance Racing, especially Thomas Hazard and Daniel Pope. We worked pretty hard this week and had good cars, so I'm pretty happy with that. But I'd like to win because we were giving away a Bodo cockpit if any one of us wins. So I'd like to give away one of those before the season's over. So hopefully we'll do that. But just want to thank Main Performance PC, Bodo Gaming Cockpits, and all y'all for all the fans out there that are watching.
There you go. That's Josh Berry. He comes home in the 4th position here. We'll pitch it over to Nim Cross, who has caught up with John Gorlinski. Nim?
Hey, Daryl, down here trying to catch up with John Gorlinski. John Gorlinski running around the top 10 somewhere tonight, and always back and forth a little bit, John. Probably a pretty exciting run for you, falling back a little bit, up in front a little bit, but always in a big pack of cars and always fighting hard.
Yeah, the Wrangler Impala was really hooked up today. After about 10 laps, I was probably one of the better cars on the track. It's extremely hard to pass though, so I was kind of fighting tooth and nail for all I could get. I got lucky a couple times on green flag stops and barely staying on the lead lap, but I mean overall I thought it was a really good race compared to what we had last season and other races last season.
Yeah, it definitely was a good race here on our end too. An enjoyable race to watch. Did see you in quite a few fights, and it seemed at the end of the race you were able to pull out your best spot. So top 5, which is a good run for the championship hopes for this season.
Yeah, I peaked right at the perfect time. In all honesty, I thought I had about a 3rd place car maybe. I don't think I had anything for Josh or Brad, but I mean 5th place in a series of this caliber is almost like a win. I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of competition out there. Very good. This probably puts you around the top 5 in points. Go ahead and thank all those people that you want to thank for your race.
I'd like to thank Wrangler for coming on board this season, Whiskey River and Tax Slayer's associates, and I'd like to give a shout out to my dad if he's still watching the broadcast.
There you go. Shout out to Mr. Gorlinski. And we'll send it back up to Daryl in the booth.
That's going to wrap it up here tonight from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and what a great show we've just seen put on. 7 cautions for 26 laps, 9 lean changes, but the majority of these laps led by Brad Davies. And Nim, I don't think we could hope for a much more dominating performance than we saw out of Brad Davies here tonight.
You know, Davies did dominate a little bit, but a lot of great racing tonight back to the pack. And these guys, went 40-some laps before they had their first caution, and that was just a simple spin through the grass. So really good race tonight in NASCAR World Championship Series, round number 2 at Las Vegas. Good race, and hopefully we'll have a good one. And I think we're going to have a lot more action coming up in Bristol in 2 weeks.
Bristol in 2 weeks, the iRacing.com Intel GP Series World Final from CBIT this Friday, 4 a.m. Eastern. That's 9 o'clock GMT. 9 o'clock GMT, 4 a.m. Eastern Time. And that's when the winner of the $50 iRacing.com gift certificate will be announced. Don't forget about that $50 logo design prize. Contact at hotlapradio.com for that one. Don't miss this week's Hot Lap Radio, by the way. Josh Parker will be on. We believe Brad Davies might make it to the show. And, of course, some guy named Dale Earnhardt Jr. confirmed for the show. Do believe before we go off the air, we'll be able to catch a quick word with Ray Alfalo. Ray Alfalo will be making his way to Germany to be a part of this big event. And Ray, obviously you're going to leave here as the points leader. I don't know if you're aware of that. But you're going to leave here as a points leader with a few points or 1 point lead over Josh Parker, and you get to go all the way over to Germany and take part in one of the biggest races of the year.
Yeah, I mean, a little disappointed there at the end. I thought I could finish around 4th or so, but I'll take the point lead, and obviously now the focus is waking up in like 5 hours and traveling for like a whole day and getting there. But looking forward to that.
You'll be able to sleep a little bit on the plane as you'll be able to celebrate, and you're heading over with a few fellow sim racers, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna take a flight from here, Fort Myers, to Philadelphia, and then I'll meet with Jake Sturgill over there, and then we'll fly over on the same flight and meet up with Wyatt Gooden over there at the airport, and we'll go from there.
Have you had the opportunity to meet Jake Sturgis before this opportunity comes up?
Yeah, him and Wyatt were at the New York thing where we qualified for the Germany thing, so I've met him over there.
I think you guys are going to have a great time, and try not to burn down Europe while you're there, okay?
Yeah, we'll try.
Hey, Ray, if you get a chance to drive on the Autobahn, you're going to have to let us know how it is, and we're going to wish you the best of luck, and I'll be getting up early Friday morning to watch this race, buddy. Best of luck on it.
Thanks, man. I mean, I really don't know what to expect. I just know it's going to be cold, so that's the only thing I know it's forecasted. Everything else is going to be a surprise.
Well, you're from New York. You're from Florida. It'll be about the same as New York temperatures. You're from Florida. Everything is cold to you, buddy.
Yes, it is.
That's going to wrap things up. Want to thank Ray Alfalo for coming in late last minute. We certainly do appreciate it. On behalf of Nim Cross, Ian Bushing, Chuck Johnson, Matt Racing Kid Thomas, PJ Losi, and of course all of us here at the PSR TV Broadcasting Center, I'm Darryl Morley, thanking you so much for tuning in and reminding you, keep it shiny side up and rubber side down, and always, always, always keep that hammer down. We'll see you next time right here on PSR TV, and I'll see you at Hot Lap Radio.